The day and age in which we're living, folks, when $1.3 trillion, the latest sort of, throw it out there figure that they're looking at in another round of stimulus is considered paltry. Keep in mind that between what Congress has forked over and what the Federal Reserve has done, we have spent the better part of $10 trillion on initiatives and programs and checks, rescues for companies and everything else to buy up on the part of the Federal Reserve, mortgage bonds, municipal bonds, corporate bonds, at such a rate and at such a pace that it's staggering. So when you hear that $1.3 trillion is essentially chump change, Rebecca Walser follows this on Wall Street. Either she rolls her eyes or she has heart palpitations. Rebecca, I don't know which, maybe both. But man, oh man, it says something about our day and age here where we're running up a lot of debt. We just came off the month of June with $864 billion of more spending than taking money in. And we're going to add to that. I'm not casting aspersions on either party. They're both knee deep in this stuff. But someday we have to pay for it all.
Yes, Neil. I mean, this is an issue, right? I mean, the government was between a rock and a hard place. We didn't know the impact of the virus at first. We had to voluntarily shut down, and we definitely needed some kind of stimulus because we would be looking at the Great Depression to put 42 million people on unemployment without any kind of stimulus. But Neil, can we keep affording to do it? If we can't get a vaccine and back to a normal level for 2 years, let's say, hypothetically, can we stimulate our way out of this for the next 2 years? It's not possible. This is the decade, remember, Neil, that all the baby boomers are retiring and going on to Social Security and Medicare. We have enough issues already with just dealing with that than dealing with, constant stimulus. So I'm not saying I disagree, but I agree with you. We need all hands on deck, both parties, to get to Washington and start to work together and figure out what are we going to do to get back to some kind of normalcy, because we cannot stimulate indefinitely ourselves out of this problem.
By the way, why are you, a very young person, telling me, a baby boomer, that I'm going to retire? Are you forcing me out? Anyway, Rebecca, let me ask you about the mood right now. Investors are looking at this. I'm sure they're crunching the numbers. They're kind of used to deficits. And in fact, they like all the planned spending because between that and the Federal Reserve keeping things, cozy, they love it. Isn't that weird?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's true. Most of the stimulus has ended up in Wall Street. I mean, it's absolutely true. It's all in equities. And I don't think that they love it as long as it keeps coming, right, Neil? The second it stops and we should have to deal with reality and we have to pay the bill, they don't love it. We don't love it then. So that's the issue. It's like we can stimulate temporarily. We can deal with something temporarily, but it is not a lifestyle. This is not a let's continue the $600 weekly supplement from the federal government indefinitely. People don't go back to work. There's a lot of things. We need the local and state governments to be pressured to open back up as it's safe. So, yeah, it's a lot of things.
All right, young one. Thank you very, very much. I'm not going to retire just yet, although many urge that I do so. Rebecca, great chatting with you. I always appreciate the insight. You probably heard